are on to the rift for our fifth and final game of this series. Verdant have been playing absolutely amazing this entire series. NORD, their team fighting has been there, but it feels like a bunch of other areas have not. This has to be their moment to return to glory so they can get that rematch versus Riddle and try and reclaim their spot at the top. I do really want to see Kasing be more on the roaming. I want him to match Clyde, not be behind Clyde.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. He's been behind him in every single stage, like trying to match roams, but he's always, you could see the play happens and then he's on his way as the play ends. You know, it's always just a bit too slow. Standard 5-point opening, it's going to be a slow early game. I think this is the draft with the slowest early game potential. Maybe you have something that can happen, but there's really no setup outside of maybe some lane gank setup with Thresh. That is what he's really good at. He's good at setting up lane ganks. But outside of that, I don't see anything happening because top is impossible to gank, right? Counter-Strike's impossible to gank. Maybe Jarvan could make a gank onto Sion, but then you're investing resources into putting a Sion behind, which is, you know, not the best use of your time, in my opinion. So if any action is going to happen, I'd expect it bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, into the laning phase we go. And probably as expected, this is going to be a little bit more slow. This is going to probably be a little bit more relaxed of an early game. So both of these teams just going to be looking for those kind of level 6 areas. Did Wow get those? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he got them all.
That
was really nice.
Super close.
But quite funny how this is the highest stakes game of the league so far. The winner of this goes to EU Masters in the playing stage, I think, or no, just possibly the main stage if they win the next series. So despite being slow, there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, it's just going to be NORD getting shoved in on the bottom side into this Thresh lane. Level 2 achieved for Kevo and Clyde early, so they do have that pressure. But Clyde immediately just moving out, placing some vision, and kind of just setting up the precedent that, you know, this is what he's going to do. Taxa, I saw that.
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. That was a really unfortunate camera timing.
He's had a good enough series, but he's all is forgiven off the back of this.
That's true. But it looks like bot lane's going to get push. Mid lane's going to get push as well for Verdant. I think the only lane that gets priority is NORD's top lane. But even then, it does look like the base damage and the AoE Q is a bit too much. They are going to invest in resources to shut down Nilly.
Yeah, if they get the flag and drag on, they flash in. They're waiting to close the gap. They want him to flash. They're trying to bait it. He flashes in the wrong way. Tries to get the 2-man knockup. No! First blood! Nilly's got 2! What the hell was that, NORD?
That was insane, the amount of tower damage. And then Sion Q. Wait, this is a different dimension. But the amount of tower damage that Akabane took, I don't think he expected to get stunned and then hit by a 400 damage tower shot. That is the tower damage buffs on 13.3, I believe, just stacking up right there. They tried to die, but in the end it isn't worth. Although the wave is good, so topside is saved a little bit in that way.
We just got like a wartime flashback there. That fight was that like dive went so bad for NORD, it triggered like an old memory, a repressed memory in them.
Look at the items top lane. That is a bit scary now. All right.
He's got like, look at the farm lead already.
He's a big lad. I'm going to tell you that much. Now, tries to come down and contest that Scuttle Crab's a bit too late, but you aren't going to be making more plays onto this. Yes, they find a kill onto WoW, but now Nilly's going to be super happy just chilling. He knows he's under no threat now at all. This Barmy spike is going to be everything for stalling that split push threat and eventually becoming unkillable. All right. Whilst the kill does like accelerate WoW into this Divine Sunder, it's just not enough. And now Akabane's not going to gank top anymore. You're suiciding if you gank top lane. You're suiciding the team. You need to gank counter gank bot lane maybe. Do something with this Jarvan. Or just wait until you're playing team fights where you could just force Zaya. That's your only play as Akabane now. There it is.
Yeah,
I think it's the bot lane play.
Well, it looks like they are going to bring everybody down. Kevo gets lanterned out. This has to be a hell of a flag and drag. But I think I didn't see if the flay was up. So I feel like if the flay was up, that was just not ever going to happen. It's too telegraphed.
It's too difficult because the setup isn't there, right? Like, this is the problem with Rakan. His early game isn't the best, right? When paired with Zaya, it's pretty decent. When they hit level 3, level 6, they have all their spells, they can do a lot of damage. But without Zaya, with no setup on the AD carry either, because Zaya has a lot of setup with the feathers, you kind of just don't have any setup. And this is why I said it's so hard for them to play through anything, right? They just have nothing to play through. And that's where the, like, the mismatch of identities happens with Jarvan, and you only pick Jarvan for the team fights.
Well, 5 minutes on the clock, and already with those 2 kills onto this top lane, WoW is no health and playing under tower.
Yeah.
That is
it's a bit
super rough for him, as Fury just desperately trying to contest this pink ward, but he's actually going to look to try and get some damage off of the Clyde. He just flashes away from the flag and drag. Has got the Hex Flash, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And Verdant, in the meanwhile, just take Dragon. And I don't think Akabane is going to be able to close that gap now. But he's already used the flag and drag. So Verdant already a Dragon up. It just feels like they know that the end is in sight. They know that they could potentially pull this back. So they are playing with everything.
And ultimately, they're going to go back bot lane. They're going to crash this wave, and they're not going to be able to find anything unless they find a dream lantern setup. But it doesn't look like Tax is going to want to do that either. He's just going to continue farming because they are really chilling. They've got exactly what they want. They want to sit back and scale, become this insane disengaged team that functions in the 5v5, and they're getting that. Look at that base damage from Sion. He is absolutely the base damage king at the moment ever since those buffs, and he's just poking out Jax because, like I said, Jax has no like innate sustain. He might have this honey fruit for later, but realistically, he's just going to get poked out continuously, especially versus these like tank items.
Well, I don't think he's even going to get that honey fruit because I think Fury wants mana. Although he's roaming in the area. Look at WoW's health bar. That's not okay. The only reason that trade is like relatively equal is because there was minions.
Yeah. I mean, he can't crash the wave, right? So he's constantly like stuck in front of the tower, which opens him up to ganks. Taxa could look on this wave, like this freeze in front of the top tower. It's not quite a permanent freeze. The minions are a little bit chunked, but WoW has to walk up all the entire time. And you can see Taxa's, there are pings going down on the waves, right? Taxa's looking as well, but he might just get stopped by vision on that bush.
Yeah, it has been seen, so he's just going to back off the back of that one. Things are coming down. And look, Clyde's on the map. This time Kasing is on the map,
7 minutes
he is
30
here, but they want to be set up for this Rift Tower that's going to spawn up very shortly. And Clyde flashes in with the Hex Flash to Vision, so just revealing himself a little bit. But, I mean, what can WoW do? He can't really do much right now. He's just going to be playing back. But actually, NORD popping the Ghost. They're going to cast. They're going to throw everything down onto Clyde. He gets caught out, and that's the Primordial Burst. That's the kill for Fury. Nilly, though, he's still tanky enough to hold fast. He's still okay. And finally, NORD were the ones who were proactive there. They throw the cask out onto WoW. WoW heavily chunked.
Trying to chunk them out to dissuade the Herald. This could go badly. There are some ultimates used now, like no Viper.
They got the charge.
Herald's here.
Nilly, watch for the charge. There he comes. He's launching in. As soon as that's burned, that's all they need. There's going to be the kill. Nilly steals the Herald and everything. Now they got the damage onto WoW. He's low HP as in comes Clyde, throwing out the lantern. They want to get the chase off. Can they get the shift with Errol forwards? I don't know if he can. He didn't have Q. Nearly stole that Herald with his ultimate.
What a beautiful combination. Ramming everyone into the Azir wall with Nilly's ultimate as well. I hope we see a replay of that because that was just gorgeous. He has Rift Herald. There it is. There's the replay. That is, once again, time traveling.
Which is fantastic. Wartime flashback. Oh no, he's all right. Wait, minions, minions! The cannon!
Oh, it's an absolute disaster. I think Hipbrain's having some technical difficulties with his mic, but they're absolute disaster. Yeah, you cut out. It's all good, mate. Disaster. The minions just finishing off WoW right there. Brutal.
Oh, so honestly, I don't know why they keep letting WoW play for fighters. Hey, here we go.
Watch them smush between. Oh, it's just an ultimate sandwich, isn't it? The Scion ultimate charge into the Azir wall.
Did Nilly's W pop?
He might have done.
Stole it? I think it was his W, but actually
it does a lot of
percentage
Herald damage, right? It does a lot of percentage health damage. So whilst it might be capped, it would still do a significant amount.
He's 3-1. He's got a full item and boots at the point where WoW hasn't even got boots, a shield, and a warhammer.
Oh, it's
There's
brutal.
2 levels.
So much flexibility as well. Yeah, flexibility, consistency. He's showing why he was voted as the best top lane in the league. He's really putting a number on WoW.
It's weird because while you were having your issues at the beginning, we were going through them, and I said I didn't vote for Nilly. I I felt it was WoW.
I
felt
did.
it was WoW. Yeah, now I regret voting for WoW, unfortunately.
No, he's just so consistent. He's so
Yes.
consistent. And whilst Verdant was struggling, Nilly would still perform. And that's always an amazing sign of a player. You know, like whenever you're a shining light, right? Even though your team is bottom of the barrel 6th, you know, at a point they were 6th and 7th contesting, you know? And he was still performing well as the best top laner. When you see that, it's probably for a reason. It's the same with Fjumpbun. I think Fjumpbun was heavily underrated. But regardless, coming back to this game, Dragon is up. Crucially, no flash for Vigon, no flash for Fury. Summoners, no flash for Taxus, so no EQ Body Slam R combinations, no Bomber combinations. Rift Herald coming down to charge this, and NORD are going to have to answer this Rift Herald, so I think Verdant are going to get this Dragon.
Yeah, there's no way they can contest it. And, you know, normally when all these plays happen, you go, well, you know, at least Woolite's getting plates, he's getting farm, but, like, he's not that far ahead of his counterpart. He's not actually been able to pick any plates up for himself, so ultimately hasn't really come at a cost here to Verdant this time around. I think that's the major difference this time, as Woolite needs to be careful. That could lock him. He has to cleanse immediately. They're jumping in to try and see if they can steal this one away. Kasing gets the charm off. There's the cast down. Woolite launches forwards and secures himself a kill, but in comes the Scion. In comes the Azir, and Verdant makes short work of NORD.
And you could see the entire time that Nilly was shadowing the entire play. The entire time they were on Dragon, Nilly was walking back and forth between bot lane and top lane, mid lane and top lane, mid lane and top lane, until he realized, guys, the fight's probably going to pop out, and we need to do this.
Wow!
Trying to trade off a play, but it doesn't work. He doesn't have enough damage. I think he gets his divine, but still.
I don't know, man. That was not it. That was not it.
You can see, watch Nilly, right? He was walking between mid and top lane, and he ults down now. Fury has to get out of the way. I think he would have had more impact if Fury actually blocked the ultimate, but still, maybe the fight was over by then. And they just secure the dragon, and then the cross map is denied by the TP from Errol, who eats the wave onto tower and solo kills WoW too, because WoW is just so desperate for this cross map.
Yeah, WoW is unfortunately very much on the back foot, but I mean, he, like you said, he has got that Sunderer, so, you know, in the side lane, there is just a point where, like, WoW can take over the game, but it's a long way away. What we need to see, though, is not what Verdant did last time. Last time they put WoW behind, they just kept putting resources into keeping him behind. He is now behind. Like, yes, he's got Sunderer. Yes, he's not overly weak at this point, but, you know, he's not going to be taking over the game yet. So what they need to do is accelerate the game away from WoW in other areas. They need to be playing around, you know, the other lanes. Right now, Kevo finds himself a kill onto Woolite. Featherstorm and the Blade Cooler makes easy work of Woolite, and Flash Cleanseless. There wasn't much Woolite could do there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we're already seeing that. Accelerating the game, Fury with a nice flash. Accelerating the game away from Nilly is exactly the name of the game plan, right? Like, he's been shadowing bot lane, shadowing the mid wave, giving up a bit of his lead to make sure Dragon is secured. And I think that's exactly what he's going to keep doing. You could see panic roams coming in from WoW off of a wave crash, and Nilly, I think he's just going to get another plate. He's going to get his Jack show very soon, and it's going to be a 2-item Scion at 15 minutes. No one's going to be able to kill him. Absolutely no one's going to be able to kill him. We're not seeing the Leandry's Vigar that we saw earlier, who had a bit more damage. You have DPS from a Kai'Sa, who does a lot of damage, but there's no way Woolite can be accelerated enough to kill a 2-item Scion at this stage of the game.
No, he's. I mean, that has to be like a phenomenal misplay by Nilly. As Kevo gets the Lantern out. I believe Kasing ulted there as well. Yeah, he did. So a lot used. Kevo doesn't burn a single thing. That exhaust was from the previous fight. Actually, for the fight before at the Dragon. So really rough loss there as Taxa gets the cask back. Fury's low HP. They find the knockup. They find the primordial burst. Taxa's caught in place. And Akabane is able to secure the kill, but not before losing a lot of HP. Good cleanse. Hook. Don't think they can fight anymore.
They're managing to find these picks with Fury. I'm telling you, every single time the game's not going so well, Fury manages to find something. Before they found it in River with Vigar, above the Herald, and now they're finding it here too. So I think they just got to keep playing through the Vigar cage setup. Accelerate Fury, and then maybe he can spread his lead too, because he'll have a lot of setup with this Everfrost. It's a really tall task, though. I think the gold distribution is not that great. A lot of the gold is on Akabane. So they're gonna have to find a way to get it onto Woolite, because Woolite, I think, is your main carry this game. He definitely isn't gonna itemize only damage, and there is no other real source of consistent DPS for the team. So you're gonna want to maybe get Herald. You're gonna want to maybe spread your lead to him.
Well, Herald getting started up here by Verdant. Has been spotted out thanks to that Scryers, but I don't really think they're gonna.
No, there's no way.
Bother.
You can see Woolite pathing down to bot side. He half pathed the Rift Herald to maybe contest, and you could just tell in the comms they're like, "Nah, guys, no, just go back to your lanes. We're giving this up. We'll fight at a different item power spike." And now he's probably going to try and get bot lane turret because he's got vision covering him. You can see that Kasing just placed some wards by the wraiths to maybe show Woolite how long he can hit for. Probably not going to be that long. He's definitely not going to get the tower.
I will say I preferred this build on Fury to the previous build.
Sure.
I actually don't really like the Leandris build he went last time.
I agree.
I think I don't really see why or what it does. As Errol, can he get the outplay? Gets a shove back onto Wow. Wow flashes forwards. Errol flashes away, and Errol solo kills. Wow! Holy moly! Twice now.
And he just keeps trying over and over again. You got to feel for WoW because he keeps trying to make these miracle plays happen onto Errol, but every single time he's so close and it's not quite there. Now you got to imagine this dragon's going to be done because Errol can just walk back from base and then they're just going to have to back off and give it up.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so rough. As a tower.
WoW does have TP.
WoW does, yeah. Is he going to use it, though? I mean, he's not got really much to use here. Going to throw the Herald down. The cage is actually used to catch on to Clive. They do get the cast. They do get the hook as well to follow. The Primordial Burst doesn't do enough. They do just about finish it up at the end as the tower goes down. WoW comes in for a two-man stun, but Kevo and Errol are untouched for the moment. Another cage comes out. Somehow they walk into that one as well. Just about slivers out. We're low HP. Nilly still very tanky. The numbers advantage is there for NORD, but the health advantage, honestly, in Verdant's favor right now.
Yeah. Kevo still has his R, so really important. If they try to engage on the Kevo, they don't have the tools to immediately engage and disengage. I don't think this fight is winnable for NORD, despite having so much pick.
Oh, that's a good... That might be it. That might just be what they needed. He walks into the cage, and he's down.
What happened there?
He just walked into the cage.
I want to see a replay of that. Are you sure? I blinked and then Kevin was dead, but he has feathers up. Did he really just walk into the cage?
So I need to see again because there's a chance that he got bopped by Nilly's model into the cage.
I refuse to believe he just walked into a cage.
I mean, that is the worst case. The best case is he got bopped by Nilly. Worst case is he just walked into it.
But how do they keep getting away with this, right? Like they're so far behind and they still manage to find picks with their pick comp.
Let's see.
It must be just walking in. There's no reason for...
Yeah, just walks in. That's
really unfortunate.
I don't know if it's unfortunate. I think that was just a really silly play there by Kevo.
But okay, that's fair. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we all make mistakes, right?
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, like that was in best case them actually somehow taking that fight and winning it. And like you said, there was a world where they can win it. But yeah, I think ultimately that was the worst case is they lose a player or two and then the dragon.
Yeah, I think they can win that fight because he does have that Featherstorm, right? And then no one can get on him without like him just killing the person who goes on him because they had no tools like Jarvanel, right? But now, moving on from that, they are going to cross map on the top side. NORD are still not that comfortable, right? They still are really far behind top laner. They have a lot of gold onto Woolite, so it's the same story as always, right? It's Woolite with the gold, and he's going to have to use his lead to win the game. Nilly's going to be able to get a Demolish proc here, nice and juicy. Probably be able to take this turret on his own, whilst he's shadowed by a Thresh Lantern, so there's really no threat onto him. WoW, going to bleed out some more, and unfortunately, I would not want to see his average, like, how much CS behind at 15 minutes he is. Of course, it's going to be inflated by the fact that he's been camped a lot, but still, even in isolated lanes, it's been rough.
I mean, he's also been camped by his own team. That's the worst thing. It's just like, it's not like it's just like he's constantly on his own. It's bad plays. This game literally started with a bad dive onto Nilly. Just like game number 1. Just like game number 3 as well. Like, there's been a lot of times where, wow, they put resources into him and it hasn't paid off as they are looking for the knockups, the pop-ups, the CC, and WoW is down.
That is brutal. And it's just him extending, right, without any backup. You could see when Nilly extends, he has the backup of a Thresh Lantern, right? But here, they walk bot lane and they one-shot him. Even with these base stats, it doesn't matter. He's too far behind. It's not like they have a huge amount of damage. Yes, they have Night Harvester, but it is essentially a full tank. 2 items coming in for Sion now, and it's just going to be brutal. That tier 2 turret is being threatened by Nilly right now, and he's got no joke in terms of damage. He's no joke in terms of damage. He can one-shot this with a big demolish proc and play off demolish rotations. But this mid lane posturing, I don't think they can find an engage here. They don't have the damage with WoW for the CC as well, and to be a meatbag, so you can imagine they're just going to play for push and then back off the top.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to do anything, really, with Kebo having ult and flash, Errol having that Emperor's Divide. So even if he does find himself in a pit with the Jarvan, he can just shove him out of the pit and shift out later. Yep. It's going to be feeling nice and comfortable as, shoving from Nilly towards that bottom side, but wasn't really going to stick around and take the tower. So he's just going to back off and chill for the moment. He's got that Jack show, like you said, and going in for the base, looking to get his next item. We'll see what that's going to be. Probably something along the lines of a bit of magic resist. Although it's a lot of AD damage on this team. Obviously, you got the Veigar, but you only really need one item, I guess, to kind of tank out on that Veigar.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Kai'Sa also does a lot of mixed damage, right? But you're probably deciding between a Randuin's or a Frozen Heart versus a Force of Nature. And it does look like they're securing Baron Vision. A lot of these NORD games have been decided around random Barons as well, right?
Yes.
And random fights around Baron. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some, because they have a lot of single target damage, right? Woolite with his Kai'Sa has a Kraken Slayer and 2 items, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it just randomly started up at a point where Verdant don't expect it.
No, completely. Dragon, though, will be spawning up in 50 seconds, so I feel the attention is going to go towards there. Nilly's going to get this bot lane pushing in favor of his team, and he's actually stacking more armor. He's got the Warden's Mail.
Looks like a Frozen Heart or Randuin's.
I assume Frozen Heart, because Randuin's only has
it builds
the
out
Wardens.
Kindle and Wardens, if I remember. Yeah, no, you're completely right. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be Frozen Heart, a bit more utility for the team, slowing the attack speed of Jax, Jarvan, and Kai'Sa. No, pretty decent. I want to see how they manage to get into River here, right? Because it does look like Verdant have control of the River right now, and do have the vision down already, whereas NORD are a bit slower to the punch. Maybe they all just run through mid into the side lane afterwards and try to get priority. I think they just have to look for a pick first. That's inevitably going to be the way. Look at Clyde.
Gets himself completely
CC
locked. He's gone. Just spotted out by the vision, and that's probably just Dragon now for that.
What is going on? That's equalizing the dragons. They're going to try and turn onto the Baron. They have a lot of DPS with this Leandri's Azir.
And that was a classic fly play. That's all that was.
Yeah, I mean, that was an attempt on the flank, right? Like, respectable, but unfortunately it had vision.
Oh no, they're looking to come in, but the cage is so good at buying zone control. And it looks like the pings are down on Baron. They just want to try and burst it, but it's a little bit too slow, I think, for this one. Immediately
they can make it
out. It's a quick
one,
will
be fast.
It's a very quick one. WoW's going to TP back in. Can Akabane outsmite Taxa? The cage is there. Nilly's buying a lot of time. The Featherstorm's bought out for a bit of space, and now in jumps Nilly. He's immediately exhausted as he's being locked down. He's buying so much time for his team. In comes Cly on the side as finally they finish him up, but Nilly in zombie form just running through the whole team. WoW comes in. 3-man stun! There's the knockup from Akabane! The Emperor's Divide backwards. The health bars are low on NORD, but they are going to try this Baron. This is hard with the Azir. He can re-heal and teleport back in if he needs to.
And just when you think the fight isn't going well, you see Kasing get an engage off and nothing happens. He buys time, though, for the Baron to reset, which ultimately we could see in this replay here. Look at Kasing. He buys time. He finds an epic engage, which also pops Kevo's R, which is huge, by the way, because now... WoW is ultimately unlocked to flash E everyone. What a beautiful engage. Despite being 1-5, 2-5, you can't put him behind. He will always be relevant.
I feel like WoW is like, he just like Giga ints lane and then always lands those counter strikes. Like every time he plays Jax, it's always more than 3. It's 3 or more who get hit by the counter strikes, and like when it matters.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember back to the first week of casting WoW? He got that 4-man Counter-Strike bot lane. It's just like, this guy's skirmishing and team fighting whilst he's being punished in lane. Honestly, he has champion pool issues too. He's popping off and he pulls his weight later on despite being behind.
No, absolutely. I've been very critical of WoW, and I honestly kind of think rightly so. I think
absolutely.
His laning phase has been left a lot to desire, but his stubbornness in some way does do favors for his team. I feel, in some of those games, if he just hadn't played a Bruiser and played like a Scion or an Ornn or, you know, something he can just play frontline, then maybe it could have been a very, very different day and we could have had a much faster day. But, you know, regardless, as much as I can be critical about his builds and everything, I will say he's made for a bloody entertaining day.
Yeah, and the Baron Siege coming up here. Cage after cage after cage. When you play with Veigar, you have to just put down a cage. If it doesn't land, you back off and wait for the cage to come up again. It's a very simple win condition, but you have to be incredibly disciplined, and you do not fight without it, because that's Veigar's main usefulness. Does look like they're deciding, you know what, we took a tier 2 tower bot lane. We're gonna say this is enough for the Baron. Typically, when you get your first Baron, you don't crack open the base, right? It's too difficult. Often you get a few tier 2s, right? You get 2 tier 2s, maybe a tier 1 here and there, but best case scenario is you get like a tier 3 tower. You almost never crack open a base on the first Baron, but when it comes second Baron, you've unlocked the base, you can actually push for further. Regardless, that's equalized the gold lead, and it's a 4k gold lead now for NORD. I'd expect him to continue sieging, maybe with this 1-3-1, because WoW is now accelerated.
Yeah, WoW is very strong, very, very strong. Gone for the Black Cleaver over the Bork build, so actually playing a little bit more for the team, because the Bork is more, I want to split push, I want to 1v1 the Scion. I think he's at the point where he's like, okay, my counter strikes matter, and basically decide whether my team win or lose these fights.
Yeah.
So no, I can respect it, actually.
Does look like they're going to go for this tier 2 tower top lane. This makes a lot of sense. The tier 2 tower top lane is the easiest objective that has the most gold. Just risk versus reward, simple maths. It's super good to go for this. They're going to overload topside, probably push in mid with the slippery Jack so that he can't get engaged on, and then push in this side lane. Does look like it's going to be defended though, and they've got to be careful not to get engaged on as NORD.
Yeah, be very careful. The cage is down, like you said. That's your like opportunity. Oh, Taxa. So Woolite losing a lot of health to Taxa there, but wow, now been a bit of a nuisance in the side lane. Puts up the counter strike. Cask goes down. Cage goes down. Everybody walks away.
Nice try. Nice try from Taxa to just get him off of that stun, but wow, CDR with that Black Cleaver, like you mentioned, he can just leap and counter strike non-stop off cooldown. Gonna build into that Force of Nature next, but it won't have it, I don't think, by the time he gets to this fight. Maybe he will and he'll TP in. Ooh, his recall got cancelled. This is actually pretty big because it means that Verdant can get vision down easily and maybe establish a flank. Although, no, that's not going to happen because they just have a standard front-to-back comp. They're going to establish vision, maybe death push, and just front-to-back team fight. You can imagine get mid lane prior first as well.
Oh, looks like they are just going to maybe death brush here. Nope, they're going to reveal themselves. I think it's quite hard to death rush when Veigar can just cage the bush.
Yeah, exactly. And it provides vision as well, so it's pretty rough. They're just going to go mid, though. This is their answer.
Wait,
NORD can take Soul Point.
NORD, yeah, literally, NORD don't care. There's no answer. They have to teleport out. Reset. Errol's going to solo the dragon while the rest of the team try and defend, but the inhibitor is going to pay the price.
You know, I don't know if I agree with this. I actually don't know if I agree with this, because I think getting to Soul Point essentially means you're probably going to get the Soul, unless they get a pick here, and then that's game.
Not going to land. There's the dragon. Soul over to the side of Verdant. Clyde's being caught already. The Featherstorm came out from Kevo. He was miles away. That's really bad, actually. Burning that.
I don't think anything can happen now, though. I think that's going to be the end of the siege. They have too much wave clear, and there's no way they can force further, right?
Counter strike coming in from WoW, immediately getting himself chunked out. He's able to survive. Verdant. Taxa's not going to go for it.
Slow and steady. They're gonna walk back. Yeah, there's too much wave clear. You can't end versus 4 people. 4 people typically have too much wave clear, especially this Azir and this Azaya. I think, can you place Azir tower on the fountain towers? I believe you can, right? So even if they took a tower, it would be it'd be a bit brutal.
Yes.
Regardless,
complete brain fart though. Yes.
Yeah. No, I think it's best that you just go topside now. You play for top lane. Bot lane's pushing. You could see Verdant's ping is going down to the bot lane wave. They're pinging that they're going to go on my way to that wave, clear it, and then go up to Baron, because you have to be around Baron now. Otherwise, either team can rush it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Verdant now just kind of waiting it out a bit, seeing, you know, probably Dragon is going to be their next big thing. Obviously, if they get Chemtech Soul, suddenly all this burst from NORD becomes so much harder because you get that damage reduction. They've already got lots of tenacity. They just ult off screen.
I didn't see anything. Wait, what happened? What did you say?
Woolite just ulted off screen with the Killer Instinct.
Ah, I think he must have tried and find him engage off of his plasma, right? Off of his W, maybe?
Yeah, he jumped onto Taxa.
But he doesn't have that as a tool now for a counter engage on this Baron. It is going down so fast.
It's so quick. They're too late. There's no way they get in time. Tax is going to try and make it there, but WoW's zoning. This is the power of the cage. There's so much zone control.
I think they're just going to go top now, right? And NORD are going to try and cross-map bot side with that wave, but they've realized, no, it's too fast. The siege is too quick. We can't cross-map. We have to defend this Baron. So NORD honestly out-macroing Verdant here.
And Errol thought about cancelling it and then decided not to cancel. He puts up a turret, I believe, before resetting, just so the mid lane is a little bit slower. Oh, no, he didn't even turret it. Don't worry. Oh, Verdant. Honestly, where was this NORD all series? This feels
exactly.
way
This is a
better.
different team.
This feels like, I don't feel Verdant are playing worse. I just think NORD is finally starting to play like how we expect NORD to play. This is why I put a 3-0, because this is the NORD I expected.
Outside of the WoW shenanigans early, where they fell behind a lot, I do agree with you. I think this is a lot higher gameplay. I do think that they got back in the game in a way that versus like a top EU Masters, EMEA Masters team, you couldn't do, because they mechanically out team fought them, right? Like they came back again in a team fight, out team fighting, despite being behind. I don't think that's the most reliable way to play the game. Lose hard really early and then come back like that, but they managed to pull off again against Verdant, so props to them. Gonna see how they pull off their siege now. They're putting WoW in the mid lane again because he's just so slippery, and they're gonna try and siege that bot lane inhib.
Well, looks like for now, it's going to be a little bit of a slow one, but they got that cannon chipping away. WoW is being a problem in the mid lane, so someone needs to go handle that. I say mid lane, in the base. Got a big old wave as they're looking to get the cage off at the moment. They get a hook onto Akabane, not the person they need. WoW gets a two-man stun. Look at the knockup from Akabane. In they go. Featherstorm thrown down. They pull the feathers back. It's a 1-for-2 trade so far in favor of Verdant. Now Nilly's been a real nuisance, but he's losing so much HP. Another big knockup coming in. Here comes the free man from Nilly. The shield's on Errol, trying to get the feathers, but trying to get the sand soldiers in. Shuffle onto two. Errol! What a beautiful ultimate. And somehow, Verdant hold fast.
And NORD dying with 3 stopwatches in their inventories. What happened? Maybe they just picked them up for that fight, but no, you could see there were 4 there, and they somehow all died. I think it was the feather pullback initially before this part of the fight, where I believe Kevo managed to pull back feathers through 4 people and just kill 2 people instantly. Then you can see it's just Fury's W's just not there, right? And then Errol comes up with a beautiful sweep. Dragon is spawning now. I think that's Soul for Verdant.
I think you might be right. I actually think that might be so. I mean, it's 30 seconds, so NORD do get on the map in time. But that was a big injection of cash into Verdant, who they needed that cash injection because they are significantly behind NORD right now in the gold lead. As Kevo desperately trying to get to that level 6 mark. I think the key thing to note is I don't believe Kevo will have ultimate in time. He's 46 seconds off his ultimate. So that is not going to be up for this objective. But they're teleporting in. They want to go for this. This is double teleports, I believe, as well, actually.
I think it's just going to get rushed.
Reset. They're going to try and rush it. WoW puts up the counter-strike stopwatches. That could be bad. Into the hook, into the cage. He's going to try and jump away immediately. The cast comes in. Kassin gets a big old knock-up and not onto the carries. Kevo goes golden with the stopwatch. Has he got flash? Can he get out? No. But he's going to be able to disengage out away from all of that action. WoW is heavily chunked. He does have that teleport, though, so he can join back in. Nilly tanking. Dragon getting started. The knock-up comes onto Nilly. He's low HP. Tax is going to go get the smite. It's going to be secured by Kevo. Verdant gets Soul, and it's a big one as well. Lantern to safety. They're teleporting in. Can they do this in time? I don't know. Kevo has to Featherstorm away. They're going to try and save their AD carry, but they can't do it in time. Can this game be stopped? Can WoW's split push be stopped? He gives up, and he actually looks to chase into Verdant here. Lantern over the wall. Counter-strike coming in. Errol untouched. Going to get some damage off onto WoW as Akabane gets a knock up onto 1, but Errol remains untouched at the moment. He's doing so much damage to WoW. Absolutely mincing through that health bar, but 1 inhibitor is down. The second one's going to follow. Kevo not up for another 28 seconds. This might just be NORD's moment, but they don't have the waves, and Errol has the wave clear, so it looks like that might just be all she wrote.
What a phenomenal fight. Errol 6-0 in this game, managing to find that recall in the lower bush right there, not getting stopped, and crucially, this means that WoW could not siege in time. He also doesn't have the damage to burn through those towers and the inhib. I respect the attempt, but now that big soul going in for Verdant, damage reduction and damage below 50% HP means that it's going to be even harder to finish off the Scion. And he's going to get a lot of damage even in his undead form, and it's just going to benefit him a lot, right? The front line is just going to be so tanky, and this is super important when you're playing a front-to-back composition. So I want to see something out of NORD, like a pick, right? Playing front-to-back like this is incredibly difficult. I want to see a Vigor Cage pick. Maybe you do something around Vision at Baron, because you're going in for Vision now. I think you've got to expect a face check or something. Play with the Cage.
Well, right now, it is a waiting game. Kevo, flashless, ultless. Very hard for him to contest this Baron. If you see him getting jumped onto. For now, though, Nilly is just shoving out this bot lane, making sure that it's not going to be anywhere near. And I feel the problem right now for NORD is without Baron, it's so hard for them to push waves into this base. There's so much wave clear. That's a 4-item Azaya, no ultimate. They're going to look to throw it down now. They've got the Infinity Edge, but they can't even use it. Errol gets a bit of damage off, but 2 members down. That is probably game. The tower goes up. Errol just needs to try and buy time for his team. They do have Nilly now here at the front line. They do have him to help clear the waves, and the heals coming in from Taxi. He's reset back up as well. He's going to look for the counter-strike. Can't quite find it, unfortunately. Dodging away as the tower finally goes down. A lot of time has been bought from the back of that tower, and they've got no minions to really push with. Errol doesn't get stunned, and somehow Verdant don't close this game out. They're looking for Nilly. Nilly flashes away from the knock-up. NORD's health bars are just getting absolutely obliterated, though.
Yeah, 10 seconds on Kevo. Thresh is now up. I think they bought enough time that they might be able to contest this Baron. NORD probably had to say they couldn't end. I got baited there. I thought the game was over too. But Azir's wave clear is just too good. They might actually be able to stop this Baron unless it just go... Okay, never mind. No, it's gone in 3 seconds.
There's no way they can contest it.
Wow.
They've got to sort out that bot lane as well. Kevo, interesting, he's got an Infinity Edge over the Navari build.
Yeah, that is interesting. Navori's really good for the ultimate cooldown, and then also you have permanent uptime on your W attack speed steroid, as well as more pullback. So I'm really surprised. Maybe, you know, he's the long-time Zarya player, so he probably knows more than me. Maybe it has to do with the nerfs, but still, what a close game.
I guess he gives a lot of damage.
That's true.
Infinity Edge is you know, a very damage-heavy item, but yeah. We'll have to see. For now, though, with the Baron on the side of NORD, it does look like Verdant are just trying to push out this bot side, wait for the inhibitor to respawn, and then they can feel comfortable. I don't know how much longer they got left on this inhibitor. They've only probably got 2 waves max left of supers. That might actually be the final super wave en route now. I can't remember when it fell. I might be wrong there.
It was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago. They used the pressure to get that Baron. But now it does look like they're going to use that pressure. And they've got to be patient here, right? They cannot get engaged before WoW is near. They have to sync up these waves, sync up this engage. And they have to slow push these waves so that WoW can use the waves as pressure to siege into the base. How this Baron goes is crucial, because if NORD fail the siege here, that will be an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really scary for them. But if they make this siege work, they've got another lane, which is going to be pushing in. Someone has to go deal with WoW in any second, because he is about to get to the base with the supers. They're going to rotate over the Azir, make sure that Errol is in the area. But that tower also falls in the mid lane as well. It's just going to back off, and this is a very, very tense couple of moments now. That was, I believe, the final super wave, by the way.
Oh, okay. They've got to wait for mid lane turret as well, mid lane minions as well, and they've got to kind of sync up these waves, and that's what they've done for once. They've actually done that. They're zoning with Cage to potentially buy autos for this turret, which is important.
A lot of damage. Oh, there we go. Woolite's down. They've lost the carry immediately. Stun comes in. Meanwhile, in the bot side, we're seeing the flash the hook going down, but I believe Errol was able to just win a fight versus WoW off the back of that. Inhibitors
that
respawn.
Could be Elder.
Elder up in 30 seconds. There's no supers now threatening the base. Verdant finally got a moment to breathe. There is a teleport on WoW, so he can jump into the base with a teleport and potentially win the game off a backdoor.
I think if you're NORD, you have to try and find a pick on them before they get like their bearings. You know, find a pick. Use the fact that, because if you find a normal fight, you just don't have any damage. Your AD carry's dead, so maybe find a pick with Fury. If not, you're gonna have to play the waiting game where you just give up Elder. You know, maybe you play for a steal, but I feel like they can zone off so well.
Teleport flank. They've got the cage onto Clyde. He is removed from the game, but now the threat is not there. Fury stopwatches Kevo, throws down the Featherstorm, repositions with the flash. Amazing blade caller coming down. They find all the shutdowns necessary. The knockback. Errol's jumped onto by WoW. He jumps out. Double kill. Going for WoW. There's the jump onto Akabane. He's chunked, but he's not dead. He's still holding on. WoW now will be finished up in response by Errol. They should just be able to get him with the final tick. He's able to heal thanks to the blast cones. But oh no, this is so close. Akabane, can he steal this? It will be a miracle. It will be a game-saving opportunity. He's got the flag. He's got the drag. And in comes the backup. But now they're going to look to finish up Errol. Errol may just go down. Here comes the smite. Can they secure it? No, they can't. And the Elder is going to do absolute monstrous amounts of work here for the side of Verdant. Woolite is down. Taxer's on the run. He's trying to get away from WoW. WoW's going to be able to heal back up. And Verdant somehow hold on. This series is delivering. Aragon, we are being blessed with the best of 5 we've had.
These are the best games of the entire split. I absolutely love them, but crucially, Elder is not on the key targets, right? Azir died. You don't have Elder on Azir. You have Elder on Gragas and Nili on the Scion. So yes, you can maybe throw in ulti. Your AP Gragas, you can throw an ulti at the enemy carries and proc Elder like that. But you really wanted Elder on the carry. So now I feel like NORD have not exactly an easy job, but a less hard job of actually stalling out this Elder and maybe playing afterwards.
I've realized Nili did go Jack Show. You talked about it earlier, and I kind of just went, yeah, whatever. But like, why isn't that hot still?
Nah, okay. A Jack Show honestly is just the tankiest option, right? If you just want to be pure frontline, and in this game he kind of wants to be, you know.
Okay.
He wants to be absolutely super tanky for the front to back team fights. Jack Show is really crazy. But no, Heartsteel's a really good item in itself when it's good.
Yes. Okay. But interesting. It kind of did not occur to me. You mentioned it ages ago, and I went, oh yeah, Jack Show. I just didn't realize. Oh yeah, Heartsteel's like crazy amounts of damage for Scion. But I guess, like you said, his base damage is actually already quite high.
Exactly.
Verdant are just base racing. They put the turret down. They're feeling quite safe here. There's a lot of wave clear. The cast comes out. That's a bit of the Elder burn. You're gonna get a bunch of damage off as the cage comes out. They forced WoW to reset there off the back of that. So they're feeling quite comfortable, and that actually might just be a tower down. Verdant, they've cracked the base. This might be their moment. They are just going to reset and refresh off the back of that one. They're waiting for the wave, actually. Nili feeling very comfortable. They
want to use this Elder.
I really do, but it's so hard for NORD to actually really do much about this. I guess the wave clear is there, though. So Verdant, they lose that tower at their back, and I think they feel comfortable. They don't feel comfortable to stay, especially when Baron's up in 8 seconds. And this is the first time where they've got the ability to run into that Baron pit first and just absolutely melt it. This is almost a full build Xayah and a full build Azir. Hook comes in onto Akabane. Look at that Baron damage. It's gone. It's secured already. NORD need to win the fight here and now, but it's going to be so hard. The cage is already wasted. The cast comes out. WoW jumps in, gets the lockdown just onto Nili. Kevo's getting a whole bunch of damage off at the moment, and Errol is untouched. WoW jumps out. The cage is used, and they only get the stun onto Clyde. Verdant can just use their Baron reset, but actually it feels like they want to step up. They want to fight. They're feeling comfortable. They're in their zone. They're getting the knock-up. WoW goes for the counter-strike. It only lands onto Nili, though. Again, not able to make the opportunity work for them. And Verdant, with this Baron, going in for their final reset. And I think they might go for a game-winning push here.
And it's such a game of inches. You cannot run into them. It's too hard to run into through the Azir soldiers. You can't run past the Gragas casks, and you can't run into Scion Qs and the feathers. There's too much disengage, and you could just see how well this composition is working as a unit. You just cannot find the Vigor cages. You're just outranged, right? So I really want to see NORD try something, but essentially that Elder Drake secured that Baron.
Holy moly. That is super, super clutch.
Yeah.
But it just feels like this is still anybody's game. The soul is amazing on Verdant. Like, Chemtech's soul is such a powerful soul. Firstly, the tenacity is amazing for these guys because you're working with the cages and the knockups and all that. It's always going to help on that front.
That's
true. It's
true,
also
yeah.
just that big damage reduction, especially on Nilly. He's already tanky. You get into 30% HP. That's still probably more health than Woolite has, and he gets damage reduction on top of that. As Akabane, his GA is popped. They put the box down. They miss the hook. He flashes away, but he's taken out by Taxa. Nothing they can do about that one.
I thought he might get out there because he managed to flash and Cly mistimed the hook, but I want to see if this kill turns into a game. I'm not sure if it will. You have a lot of wave clear, right? Veigar, Fury on this Veigar. I wonder what the cooldown on his W is because they're just raining down, clearing waves off cooldown. Let's see. So that's a 2-second cooldown. It's absolutely minimal, and they're managing to find the siege here. That's a lot of damage as well.
The team are in the base. They just walk it in through the mid, and that allows Errol to step up and take this tower with the rest of the team here. Down it goes. Inhibitor number 2 should be quick to follow. They do have to be a little careful about that cage. The Verdant, they're not overextending, they're not overreaching. I say that, and then Nilly launches into the middle of the team. Look at the damage onto Kasing. He's popped. In comes Taxa. There's the Sheriff Shield already. The shuffle back doesn't land. Errol stopwatches the Primordial Burst, putting it on cooldown, securing himself a double kill. He's alive. He's able to hold. Wow, we'll finish him up. Wow, will go down, though, in response. And this might just be the moment for Verdant. Akabane gets the cage down, but he's going to pay the ultimate price. Woolite is exhausted. And Verdant have done it! They go to EMEA and they knock NORD out of the NLC.